dropping shit at the pilot. Niggas be broken, be sobbing, but still talking shit like they violent. Niggas is broke.
Okay, so this topic has been literally driving me crazy, and I think it's time for me to address it. I've spent over a week thinking about the pros and the cons of it, and I have come to the conclusion that the Boston Celtics should not trade Isaiah Thomas. Now, I know the whole story people are gonna give me. The Celtics went against the Cavs without IT in Game 3 and almost beat them in Game 4. They obviously don't need him. IT's a defensive liability. IT can't be the best player on a championship team. Might as well trade him now. They're going to have Markelle coming in. You can't run Isaiah and Markelle at the same time. I know what y'all are gonna say. And honestly, you guys are right about every single one of them except for the last one. But it still doesn't mean the Celtics should trade IT. Let's start with the first argument, that the Celtics won in Game 3 and almost won in Game 4. I'm sorry to tell you, but those two games do not at all mean the Celtics should trade IT. You see, the Cavs have been preparing for the Celtics and IT for around a week before the series even started. If y'all remembered, the Cavs had like a week off because the Celtics went to 7 games against the Wizards while the Cavs swept through the Raptors. That's a week that the best team in the East, with arguably the smartest player the league has ever seen, spent studying their next opponent. Except when they were preparing for a team with Isaiah Thomas, with a team that did rely on him to be the main facilitator and the scorer. And that's how they won the first 2 games. Game 3, however, the Cavs didn't know what to expect coming out of the Celtics. They either miscalculated or simply underestimated the Celtics without IT. They didn't know the Celtics would move the ball that well without him. And even after all of that, it still took the Celtics a lucky bounce from AB, Marcus Smart shooting a definitely uncharacteristic 7 for 10 from 3, and LeBron's worst game in 6 years for them to win by a buzzer beater. And it continued on to the first half of Game 4. They still didn't know what to do against the Celtics. But after the first half, they seemed to have figured out the Celtics and closed the deal out in 5 in Boston. All it really was the Cavs just being surprised for a game and a half. They adjusted and blew them out by 40 again in Game 5. So I don't want to hear that excuse. They got blown out with IT and they got blown out without IT. Next is the whole notion that he's a defensive liability. I'm not disagreeing with y'all. He is undoubtedly a defensive liability. But so is James Harden. So is Steph Curry. And so is Kyrie Irving. But people keep on acting like defense and offense are equal in basketball. No, they're not. If defense was just as important as offense, Tony Allen would have made at least 1 All-Star game. Sure, it definitely helps and it would definitely be preferable to be good at defense, but it's not like you simply can't win if you're not good at it. And this kind of intertwines with the whole the Celtics shouldn't draft Markelle argument, which I think they should, simply because IT is a defensive liability. Because if IT is just being abused on defense, especially against the Cavs, then you can run a lineup with AB and Markelle won't be a defensive liability like IT, and at the same time, he can run your offense effectively. Unlike Marcus Smart, who yes is a good defender, but that's basically it. Like sometimes he's gonna have games like Game 3, but it's like 1 in every 20 games. And when the game gets tight, you can just sub in IT to close the deal since he still is Mr. Fourth Quarter. And speaking of Markelle and IT, people gotta stop saying that they can't play together. Because they can. Have y'all seen Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum? Have y'all seen LeBron James and Kyrie Irving? What about to a stretch DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry? I'm pretty sure those guys are ball dominant and they succeed. Why can't Markelle and IT? It's not like Markelle and IT need the ball in their hands at all times to be successful. IT can play off the ball and really should more if he wants to be effective against Cleveland. Markelle will allow him to do that since he is a pretty good passer. Markelle, as well, is not this typical point guard that people think. The man's a 6'5" scoring point guard. He could easily be the Bradley Beal to Isaiah Thomas. He can transform into a shooting guard like Dwayne Wade and Allen Iverson did. So I just feel like they can definitely work together, and just imagine the lineup Stevens can run with Marcus Smart, Isaiah Thomas, Markelle, and Avery. Like, that is a dream for him. And now let's get to the main argument, and the one that I want to talk about the most, and that is the argument that Isaiah can't be the best player on a championship team. And you know what? I agree. He can't. But can he be the #1 or #2 option on a championship team? Absolutely. Because I am a firm believer that any star can be the center of a championship team if they have the right pieces. I mean, just look at Curry. As much as a great individual player he is, you have to admit that that system and that team benefits him in a positive way. You pair a sharpshooter point guard of his caliber with another sharpshooter shooting guard who can draw attention, and a point power forward in Draymond Green who can find him for open shots and defend guards on switches, and you got yourself a championship team built around Steph Curry, a guy who is also a defensive liability. Dwight Howard, 2009, another example. Dwight Howard alone can't win you a championship like a LeBron or a Kobe Bryant. But if you surround him with shooters that he can kick out to, or great passers that can find him for lobs and entry passes, then you have yourself a championship contender built off of Dwight Howard. And the same can happen with IT. As constructed, Isaiah Thomas cannot carry the Celtics any further than he already has. He maxed the Celtics out, but with the right pieces, it is definitely possible to build a championship team with Isaiah Thomas as the centerpiece. He may not be the best player, similar to how Steph is not the best player on his team, but it can definitely be built off of him. And I feel like the formula for IT is surrounding him with versatile two-way players. If you surround IT with a roster that can pick up his slack on defense, but at the same time help him out on offense when he gets double teamed or trapped, then why can't they win with IT as a #1 option on a championship team? I mean, just look at the difference between this year and last year. The Celtics basically came back with the same roster. The only difference was Al Horford. Now, Al Horford is not a elite two-way player. He's not an all-star. But what he did for the C's is give them a guy who has at least an above-average potential of bailing them out when IT gets trapped. Just imagine having one or two more of those players if they could sign Hayward and draft Markelle. And the four of them can play off of each other. So I think, you know, it's definitely possible to win with IT as your #1 option. And let's just say this whole video, I am wrong about IT. Let's just say the Celtics should trade IT for those reasons. Give me a package. Give me a player that's available and that's more useful to the Celtics than IT is to the Celtics right now. That's available and would accept a trade for that player with IT as an exchange. I don't think there's any. The only one that I could think of that's remotely close is Hassan Whiteside. That's even a stretch. But I'm pretty sure the Celtics would have to involve Al Horford in that trade to make the contracts line up. And if that's the case, I'd rather just keep IT and Al. Everyone else is either not as valuable as IT, not available, or wouldn't accept IT as an exchange. So if I'm the C's, I might as well just keep him. And if you don't want to pay IT the supermax in free agency because, you know, he can't take you over the top after next year, then don't. That's why you have Markelle. And you could spend that money on other areas to build around this new core than just spending it all to keep one player. So you tell me, why should the Celtics trade Isaiah Thomas? And if they should, who would accept him that would give away equal value to the Celtics specifically? But with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I am out. Peace.